What's up, guys? Brian, Callahan Garage. Man, it's hot in the shop today. So on this table is all of the interior for the Corvette we did, I don't know, about a year ago. We sent it to a guy to actually put it together. He refurbished a lot of the parts. Unfortunately, medical problems came up and he just wasn't able to actually do the interior for us. And good help's hard to find these days. I can't find somebody that is willing to actually do this interior. So I guess it's on us. This is half of what's going in this car, and that's a little car. We got to finish up the vintage air conditioning. That's just the piping. We got a lot of work to do. But what we're going to start with today is we're going to go ahead and put some reflective or heat shielding on the bottom. Go ahead and get that in there, and then hopefully we'll get the carpet in there, and then we'll start working on the dash and other things like that. I am not great at interior, and I have tried my hardest not to do this job. But unfortunately, I can't find anybody that's willing to do it. So make sure you like and subscribe, and let's get to work. All right, first let's take a look at what we're actually working with. 1975 Corvette convertible. It sat for a long time. We got it running and driving, but nobody could because they just couldn't figure it out. We ended up figuring out it was kind of a wiring issue. We fixed that. They took out this interior way before I got the car, so it's kind of going to be a fun project trying to figure out what goes where and what wire hooks up to what wire. We've already got all the vintage air conditioning actually installed. We're just going to have to do the piping and a couple of the little things. There's a lot of work to do. So let's go ahead and let's start cleaning up some of this wire, and then we'll go ahead and start putting, I call it Dynamat, but I think now it's called like seamless flooring or something like that. I'm not sure. Anyway, so let's get to it. All right, so I laid all the carpet out, and God, I didn't realize there was that many pieces of carpet to this. It's on my swim spa to start getting some sun on it to, hopefully flatten out a little bit. But yeah, there's a lot of pieces. I mean, I'm very surprised how many pieces there are. It's a good kit though. It's got insulation on the bottom as well, and some sound deadening. So yeah, let's get going. So some of you guys might remember us taking this car through a car wash with no top on it. I'll link the video up top. I got a lot of hate for that video actually. But the reason why is there was just nothing in here. And it was so gross and so nasty. I was like, well, let's do it. But over the years, there's some of this wiring, and again, we know it all works, so because we repair what needs to be repaired. So we're just going to go ahead and tape up, re-secure all this stuff. Just so it stays together. I've already had to take the seatbelts out, but we kind of had to grind those off, so those bolts are definitely not going back in. A lot of rust. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to take off these extra little mounts here, and then we'll use one of those bolt holes to hold the new seatbelts in, and I've got to get out the new center pieces. So let's pull those out, and then let's put some mat in here. All right, so the way the seatbelts normally work in these older C3s is there's a bolt down here that holds a retractable belt that comes up through here, and then that kind of goes over there. So what I'm going to do is, those bolts are never coming out. I've tried a bunch of stuff, it's just not coming out. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of this bracket, and then we will use this bracket because this bracket's into metal, and we'll go ahead and put a single style seatbelt right here. We'll do it on both sides. It's not, we're not doing a factory restoration on this. This is, of course, I wouldn't do a factory restoration anyways. I wouldn't be the guy you want to go to. So let's get this out. Alright guys, so this is the product we're actually going to use. It's not, like I said, not a sponsor or anything like that. it's just what we could buy off Amazon and get overnight delivered. So basically it's just a peel and stick, and we'll start peeling all this, sticking all this. You want to try to make sure you have as clean a surface as possible. Unfortunately with this, we'd have to like completely strip it. But, you know, this car could use a full restoration. Unfortunately, with the market for these cars right now, it's just not worth it. So let me go ahead and get started putting this stuff on. And that piece isn't sticky anymore. Well, that's not good. Hopefully the whole box ain't that way. All right. Let's try this product. This is sealless sound deadening. There we go. Get a screw for that hole, and then we'll keep going. So yeah, I'm gonna put y'all on speed camera, and we'll just kind of go from there. All right, guys. Well, you can see it's been a couple days. I've had to actually pull this out for a little bit and finish a couple other projects. We sold 2 vehicles and had to do a couple little things to those. So, but now we're back on the Corvette. I did go ahead and get all the carpet finished installed. It's all glued in back there. We even got a new convertible top recently, so that's going to be awesome. The other problem we're having, though, now is seats. So the seats we have are just falling apart and completely uncomfortable, and they've just been in the rain for years. So we did buy a cheaper seat, just because, again, this is kind of a budget build, and we're not really doing a resto job because I don't do that. So I'm going to show you what we got and what we're going to do to get those seats mounted in here. So let me change camera angles. All right, so you can see, so this is our new seat. Give you a quick look at that. They're about $400 for the set. They're not perfect. You know, this is way to go. Now, you can buy a new bracket kit for this and go ahead to mount to the car, but it's another 220 bucks. So what I thought we would do is we'll go ahead and measure these tabs, and because we have mounting holes here, and see if we can get them to line up, and then we'll use those mounting to do this. Now, I realize a lot of people are like, you got to get the factory receipt done. This thing is completely rusted out and broken apart. There is no fixing it unless we spend a lot of money. And a new set of reproduction seats are 2,200 bucks. So 400 versus 22, I'm going to pick the 400 all day, just because, again, we're not rebuilding. We're not doing a custom build. Not really. We're not doing a restoration. We want this car to drive good, feel good, while you ride in it, and that's kind of what we're focused on. So let me get some measurements and we'll kind of see where we're at on this. All right, let's go ahead and grind these off. All right, so I still have to take everything off and kind of paint it. But to be honest, I think it's going to work fantastic. It's going to go right in the same holes. Might add a couple tack welds on it if it doesn't blow through the kind of thin aluminum. We'll try it. If it doesn't really work, I can always order one of those, aftermarket kits. But I mean, that's the same way it was bolted, that same way to the other thing. The only thing is they had a couple rivets in them. I don't have spots, so I might have spots to put a couple rivets in it, but I don't really think that's going to make a difference. But yeah, I think that'll work. We'll be able to line everything up and set it right in the car. All right, guys, we are back on the Corvette today. I got a lot done last night that I didn't film. I got the top on, replaced all the bulbs with LEDs, started cleaning up some of the wiring. I just didn't film that because honestly I was tired. But today we're hopefully going to get this dash in. Got all that all set up. This one all set up, and then the thing is, when you do these, this air conditioning conversion that he did, is you got new piping you've got to put in and kind of figure out where it's going to go. So I think that'll be the first thing I do today, is kind of figure out how to get the piping going. I'll film some of it I won't. Like I said, we're really hurrying trying to get this car done. So we'll get back with you guys in a little bit and we'll show you where we're at. All right, guys, so we're back on the 75 Corvette today. We're still waiting on some clips for the door panels, but hopefully at the end of this video, I will show you the interior we got in this car. It was a bear. Yeah, nothing fits. Everything was new and had to figure out the wiring. That being said, the problem we currently have, though, is the headlights. There's no vacuum hooked up to these. It's just they've just rotted away. So what we're going to do is go ahead and install the electric, lift. I don't know what they're called, the lifters. So we're going to change that all to electric. But what I've done is I went ahead and set it up on our table so you guys can understand the wiring, because I've looked all over the internet, and you can buy this conversion for anywhere from $100 to $300, but none of them seem to have any directions. So I'm going to show you guys the wiring real quick, just so you guys can see. It's really, really simple. It's when you see it, you're going to laugh, but it'll take away the confusion of knowing what you actually need to do. So let me show you real quick on the table. All right, so I got these hooked up for you. It's really, really simple how they get installed. So they all plug and play. You have a ground, and then you have a positive. That'll go to your alternator. So find a good ground to the alternator. Then you have your trigger wire. Now, a lot of people will hook this to the feed for the headlights, or they'll hook it to a marker light or anything like that. But once it does, it'll trigger this solenoid, and this is what you'll see. And it'll light up, and then you let off, it goes down. So super simple, not very difficult at all, but I know there's no diagrams on this. So let's get out the old ones, and then we'll see if we can get this set up. All right, guys, so I'm putting a little light on it, but basically there's 4 little bolts that you're going to have to take out. And you may need to go ahead and take out that spring as well, but we've got to pull those out. Can't really film it just because it's in such a tight location. A lot of people will take out the front grille, and we may actually do that as well because these are pretty rusty. Most likely they're just going to shear off. So let's go ahead and get those out, and we'll go from there. Sorry, it's hard to get a good view of this, but so there's so I got off the 4 bolts. Now we need to take off those springs and that little rod right there, and then we'll be able to pull those out from the back. So let me see if I can get those springs off, pair of pliers, and then hope we can get that rod out. All right, get back to you. All right, so when you pull that clip off, you're going to have a cotter pin on one side with a washer. Hopefully it's not frozen in there, but it should slide out. And then there's little plastic pieces that'll pop out on you, so you just got to put all that together, and now that whole piece should be ready to come out. All right, I was going to see if I could get away without taking the hood off. Unfortunately, you got to take the hood off because these will not fit out with the hood in the way. And we're going to clean up all that stuff. But that's pretty much it. I mean, a little vacuum left. So, pull out the other one. All right, so I don't know if you guys can see this, but we got to basically open this little hole up so we have full actuation. So I got a couple blankets out here so I don't throw stuff into our new. That's basically it. Got to get it a little bit wider. Let me wait for the pressure to fill up, and then we'll get them both done. So I don't really think it matters where the left and right go. Mine are going in this way due to being in the way of the condenser over here and some wiring. Again, it may matter, but I don't think it does. Let me get these bolted in, and we'll wire them up, and then we'll see what happens. I don't know if you can see that, but I got the pin in, but them down. So what we'll do is we'll push them up when we can put power to it, and then we'll hook the other springs in. So, but yeah, it's easier to push them when they're down because you don't have to put power to the new piece. All right. All right, so I went ahead and turned the lights on, and I pulled out the marker sign. So I've got my little tester here. So I got 10.6 and nothing there. So that's going to be our line right there. So we're just going to jump. We're going to jump the blue wire to here. So every time the lights are on, this will turn on. See? So we'll just put a little jumper there. Hook the blue wire to that. That'll be the switch for the solenoid. And this red wire will actually go to the alternator. So let me get that hooked up and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so basically what I did is I hooked a wire splice in there, but I bought a kit that actually, it's on Amazon, it's like $5, but that actually they slide in, once you get them in there, and they slide in, and that's not really going anywhere. So I was going to show you underneath the car, but it's going to be kind of difficult, so, but that's it, and then that just crimps into the wire, the power wire we found to do the signal, and now we just have to run one to the alternator and one to the ground. Truth. Definitely need a spring cable. Let's see what we got. Yeah. It works. Finally, something that works. The reason why the left side's coming up slow is it's missing some springs, so I ordered a new spring kit. But we've got some working headlights. We're right now. Guys, it is finally time to say goodbye to the Corvette. We've done so much this car. Got all the new interior in. When we got it, it didn't run for like 15 years, so new intake, new carburetors, new distributor, just a lot of work. New gas tank, I mean, new braking system. I mean, we replaced just about everything on this car. A lot of time, a lot of money, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm glad to see it go. I don't fit in the car at all. But this car's for my brother, and hopefully he will enjoy this car as much as I have not. He'll enjoy it, because I did not. But thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all your support and everybody kind of going with me as we build these cars. I know I don't put videos out as often, just because I'm working on a lot of stuff, you know, and summertime, I want to spend time with the family. So make sure you like and subscribe, and thanks for watching Callahan Garage.